Hello, and welcome to Some Shit We Like. Episode number 255?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's 255.
Yeah, it's 255.
Yeah, because I was just clearing out my computer yesterday.
You had 10 full show videos just sitting
Dude,
there?
I had 10 full shows and like...
God damn.
and then like all the clips too.
Yeah, and our shows are not short. They take up a lot of space.
8 shows, probably anywhere between
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours, which is anywhere between gig-wise about 4 to 6 gigs, depending on how long we go. So I had to transfer close to about 35 gigs or something like that.
That's a lot of fucking storage space being used.
Yeah, well, I finally got into like the red zone, so like, all right, I got to start fucking moving shit off the computer. I have internet still, waiting for the dude though.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So we got Bryce in the chat, so
Bryce is
technically
in the chat,
it's
so
still a threesome here.
Yeah, I need to go back and change what I put then. It's not a 2-man show after all. With Dingo and the baby. He's the baby.
Of course I am. Anyways, as I said, welcome to the show where we talk about
some shit we like.
Some shit we like. Video games, movies, technology, pretty much anything we like.
Yeah, anything that strikes our fancy for the week.
Yeah, even if it's something as simple as a loot crate or a box of some kind.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we put up the show on YouTube Tuesdays through Friday. Clips of the show go up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes 2 clips on Thursdays. The full audio show goes up on Tuesday, but the full motherfucking show goes up on Friday.
That's right. Bryce isn't here, so you had to throw the motherfucking in
I had to
there.
throw the motherfucking show.
Pour one out
Friday.
for the homie. Pour one out for the homie.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
He's not dead, he's just in the chat.
Yeah.
Going to step out for a second, but your voices will be filling the apartment.
Okay, awesome.
That's great. So, hello, cable guy. Internet guy.
Yeah, so should I start with the
yeah,
box thing?
so yeah, I talked about boxes and stuff like that, and you recently got a box that I'm curious about.
Yeah, okay, so it's Funbox Monthly. Anybody who even remotely pays attention to our channel or our show knows that for the last year or so I've been obsessed with skateboarding.
Right.
And I've been wanting to get this for a while because when I had the 2 Felons board with the donut on it, in one of the boxes they actually had some wheels with donuts on the side, and I was very bummed that I didn't get those. I was like, damn. But it's okay. I've moved on to a different deck since then anyway. But yeah, so it's Loot Crate or fucking every other monthly box. It's $25 a month and $25 or $26 with tax or with shipping and all that. And I subscribed for a month because they had an awesome thing going on where if you use the code FB10, you get it for $10 for your first month. So it was $16 with shipping for the first month.
That's right.
I didn't keep the subscription, but that has nothing to do with the contents of the box. I just didn't want to spend another $26 right away. So I will eventually get it back again because I was very satisfied with this box. And we'll do a little bit of I'll show you guys what's all in it.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of already got a preview of it.
Yeah. So.
I'm already sure you've already used most of it?
No, actually.
No, you haven't used any of it yet?
No.
Oh.
So the first thing is the Divert Collective socks. They're really nice socks. Let's see here.
Well, you got to show them to the camera.
Yeah, I know. So,
we don't have Skycam.
No. I know. We're not kind of funny or anything, right? So that's one side of the sock, and that's the other side of the sock. They're really nice, comfortable socks. The only problem is I can't wear these because I have gigantic calves. So I have to roll the top down, and when I roll the top down, it gets too tight around because even my lower calf. I have big legs. I got big legs, so it really bums me out because these are awesome, comfortable socks, but I can't use them, and that's a bummer. Here's the card. It comes with the card. Tells you what's in it usually, and this one is actually a Q&A with Manny Santiago, who's a pro for Fortune skateboards, I believe. He's pretty rad. He's got a sweet backyard skate park. He's also of Puerto Rican descent, and all of 2018 proceeds of the Funbox Monthly stuff, subscriptions, is going to help Puerto Rico aid from the hurricanes and all that shit. Manny Santiago sticker. It's pretty cool. Hardware. always never
Bearings?
enough hardware. No,
Let's see.
hardware.
Oh,
Bolts,
just hardware.
nuts and
Oh,
bolts
okay.
for attaching trucks. You can never have enough hardware. FKD hardware, it's just nuts and bolts. But these will run you like $5 or $6 depending on where you get things like that.
Oh, I can smell it already.
Rat Cheese Gourmet Skate Wax. And the thing I think is awesome about this is it looks like
Looks
a
like
piece
a-
of cheese.
Yeah.
And it smells amazing.
Oh, it smells like soap.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he still is, but for a while, John Hill was sponsored by Rat Cheese. I don't know if he still is, though. He hasn't talked about it lately. So maybe not. But yeah, he was sponsored by Rat Cheese. Really
That's
cool
funny.
wax. Really cool wax. Not quite at the point in my skating, again, where I'm going to be using this. But it's nice to have for when that time comes. And that'll run you like $10 or $11 depending on where you, between $6 and $11 depending on where you get it. And finally, a t-shirt. This is great for...
Oh yeah, it's gonna completely muck up the audio.
Well, I won't touch it now. Okay, and it's also Divert Collective, which is the same company that did the socks. And it's a like a tapered bottom. I don't know if you can see that, Rick, but it's a tapered bottom shirt, which is kind of cool. And feel the material, dude. That's nice, right? You don't like them because they're too soft? I love shirts like this. So yeah, that's that. And on the back it says "Achieve Your Impossible," which is it's a cool message.
Also a skate trick.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So this was what was all in the box for $16, and like so I did some checking. These shirts are like
That's anywhere between like 26 to 30.
$26 to $32 on their website because there are the soft material. They're kind of like a little bit stretchy. They're kind of like jersey material a little bit. So
Yeah, it
it's,
definitely
it's,
feels that.
it's good for skating because
stretchy.
it helps pull the sweat away from your body, which is cool. So it's a really nice shirt. That's like $26 to $32. The socks are like $10 to $12. The wax is between $6 and $11, and the hardware is only like $2 or $3. But that's way more than the $26 you would have spent on the box. I only spent $16, so I'm super happy with this. I really like this shirt a lot. I haven't actually worn it yet, but I really like this shirt. And I wish I didn't have beefy ass legs, because if I didn't, I'd wear the shit out of these socks because they're super soft. But yeah, that was what was in my Fun Box Monthly this month.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and they guarantee 3 to 5 items, and the whole idea is like anywhere from $40 to $60 worth of stuff is what. And of course they're gonna show you this is a $32 shirt, and these are $12 socks, and this is $12 wax. So like they're gonna show you all the high end prices for the stuff. The other cool thing is that when they have leftovers for boxes, like leftover components, you can buy the components individually from them.
It's kind of like Loot Crate does the same thing, where you can just buy individual.
You don't have to buy a box; you can buy the individual items.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm super satisfied with what came in this box. It's stuff I would use. Like this is a nice shirt. I would totally skate in this shirt.
Yeah.
The socks I would wear again. The wax is great. Like even if it's something where you're just doing like slappy grinds on a curb, you still need wax for that.
Yeah.
So like I mean, you don't have to ollie to do those. So those are things that we can do without having to ollie, but you still need wax for that. So that's great. This is an awesome value. If you're a skateboarder or you have a person in your life that loves skateboarding and you're thinking about gift ideas or something like that, because people are hard to shop for nowadays. And I think these boxes, as annoying as it is, because there's so many of them,
subscription boxes.
But there really is something out there for everybody, and you know.
Yeah, you can find a subscription box for pretty much anything now.
Yeah. And the way they do it is, they do it in 1 month, 3 month, and yearly commitments. So it renews every month for $25, or you can get 3 months, and I think it knocks like $10 off the price.
Yeah, the more months.
So the more months you get, the cheaper it gets. But yeah, man, if you have a skateboarder in your life, or you like skating or anything like that, this is awesome. I've seen boxes where they have Lacorda threads, shoelace belts, which are like $11 and $12 a piece, and they're just fucking shoelace belts. There's been wheels that can run anywhere from $15 to $25 to $30 for wheels. Bearings, which can get expensive.
It could definitely get expensive.
So yeah, it's not just like ancillary stuff that you wouldn't necessarily use on a daily basis. Like I said, there's been wheels, bearings. I got hardware here, wax, t-shirt, socks. Like they have really blown out this thing, and for $26 a month, or whatever it ends up, like $20 a month if you do 3 months or whatever, it's completely worth it. Even if you don't use everything, like I can give these socks to somebody to use because I can't use them. It's always nice to have extra hardware in your toolbox when it comes to skating, because you never know when a bolt's gonna snap or the thread will get messed up or whatever. But yeah, man, it's pretty good. Cool. It's an awesome deal. So again, sorry for the noise. But yeah, it's definitely something that I recommend for anybody who's into skateboarding or knows somebody that's into skateboarding. And again, not a paid ad. Bought it myself. I just got a smoking deal on it because I am a whore and I follow them on Instagram, and they're like, use this code and get basically a month for free.
Everyone has a code.
Yeah. So that's cool. I don't know if that code still works, but it was FB10, was capital F, capital B, 10. So yeah, check it out. See if that code still works. It's pretty good. And the new box will be shipping on January 10th. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep it this month, but I will eventually. I have other things I need to buy this month. You know what those are?
Oh yeah.
So I canceled my subscription boxes and shit for January because I have other things to do.
That we will talk about next week.
I'm thinking about just talking about it later on this week in this episode because I want.
Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
I saw a few movies.
Yeah. You were like, I don't have anything, but I saw this, and this.
I totally thought I didn't have anything to bring to this show because I've just been so busy with work and all that crazy bullshit.
Right.
But I actually saw 3 movies.
Nice.
And Justice League, Lady Bird, and I, Tonya.
Okay.
I'm going to jump on Justice League first.
All right, yeah, do it. Because I've been hearing middling things. I've also heard people like, oh, I don't like it. They just tried to Marvel up the DC movies. It's like, well, that's what you were complaining that the DC movies weren't Marvel enough for you. I hate people.
People, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I saw Justice League, and there were issues with the movie during the making of this movie, like the whole mustache gate.
Yeah.
And to report on that, it's noticeable.
Really?
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Oh my god.
It just looks very like video game like face.
Does it look like maybe Mario might have thrown a hat on him and there's a mustache now?
Perhaps. But for the most part,
Cappy strikes again.
I can't just push that aside. Of course, my expectations weren't like up here.
Right.
They were in the middle, and it didn't disappoint.
So,
there's disappointing parts,
right,
or disappointing things I didn't like about it, but at the same time, I don't think it was that terrible.
So, refresh my memory. You did not like Batman v Superman?
I thought it was all right.
You thought it was all right?
Yeah.
You did or didn't like Suicide Squad?
I probably like that more
than Batman v Superman.
Batman v Superman is kind of controversial to say.
So would you... No, I like it better too. I like Suicide Squad better than Batman v Superman. So would you say that these movies, for you, have steadily... And then you loved Wonder Woman.
Oh, I loved Wonder Woman.
And you really enjoyed Justice League. So would you say that DC is on an upswing for you?
For me, I think they're finding their footing.
Okay, good.
I think they know what they're finally doing.
Yeah.
As far as with the last few movies that came out.
Right.
They're going in a different... They're kind of doing almost like a reversed Avengers.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Without being spoilery.
Well, I get what you mean.
Where they're starting out with the lead, with the big guys first going out and doing the smaller movies. Not the smaller movies, but the
secondary characters after.
Yeah. For the most part, like the movie was good. It was enjoyable. It was fun. I forgot
about the fucking mustache. That's hilarious.
The mustache. Yeah, it just looked like he was a video game almost the entire time. You can tell certain parts where he wasn't.
Did they have to do that many
CG?
Reshoots?
There were a lot because his face was...
Yeah, okay.
There's maybe 2 or 3 parts where his face doesn't look like that. But as far as I can remember, that it didn't... Yeah.
Okay.
But It was an enjoyable movie.
Cool.
The way they brought him back was interesting. Superman. Maybe I'll get a little spoilery. The movie has been out for a while.
Yeah.
And like they did, Aquaman was really well done.
That's what I've been hearing.
It was really well done. Jason Momoa did a fantastic job as Aquaman. And
Trying to rehab that Aquaman image, make him cool.
Yeah. Of course, my Aquaman would always be Adrian Grenier.
Adrian Grenier? Yeah. Oh, shit. You mean
funny.
Vinny Chase.
Vinny Chase,
Okay?
sorry.
God damn.
Vincent Chase.
Get it right. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it, dude, because I
yeah,
still
it was a
haven't
lot of
seen
fun,
it.
man.
I've seen 2 movies this year, guys. 2.
I liked, I can't say his fucking name, Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
He, I hate to say it, but he did not too terrible of a job.
So you and I talked about this before, and when I saw the initial trailer, I was like, why are they making him the fucking comic relief? I don't like that. I really don't like that. And I'm not saying that the Flash has to be some fucking dark and brooding badass or anything like that, but I don't buy that version of the Flash.
Yeah, I think he would have been more suited to play Wally West.
And since you
And they could
already
have just made him Wally West.
yeah, you already have a fucking Barry Allen, right? You already have one in your shit right now.
In the universe.
In the universe. Why not just call him Wally West? Why not? You can do that. It's a comic book movie. You can play with reality. You can play with characters. And if they would have done that, it probably would have lost a lot of hate from people that are like, well, no, Grant Gustin is my Barry Allen, you know?
It would have. It would have definitely.
It would have helped.
I mean,
the movie.
there is a Wally West in the TV show, but I mean, at the same time, like, there's nothing wrong with having 2 Wally Wests. Yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with having 2 Barry Allens, but at the same time, like,
that's the other thing I don't understand when they keep talking about, like, oh, we want to get Green Lantern back in this. We want to get Green Lantern. And everybody's like, no, you can't do it. You ruined it. And I was like, no, there are so many fucking Green Lanterns. You can do whatever you want.
There's a lot of them.
And just same with the Flash. You could have just called him Wally West, and everybody would have been happy. You could have just done that. And then I would buy the comic relief a little bit better if they would have done that.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of good Easter eggs in there.
Okay.
I mean, Steppenwolf is the bad guy in this. And
Also
he's
an
trying
awesome band from the 70s.
and he's trying to get all these boxes together in order to take over and wreak havoc and all that bad stuff.
It's literally the Avengers storyline.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's almost like the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Gauntlet.
God damn it! Don't Marvel up my DC universe. Stop it.
But that is the thing though in the comics.
Yeah, I know, but still, like, they could have told a different story.
Could have. And I think they will be telling a different story with the way it ended.
Ooh, awesome! I'm excited. I still need to see it. Is it out like on VOD or anything right now?
I think so.
Okay.
I started in the movies or the theaters,
Yeah.
but
I need to see it. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Star Wars. I haven't even watched Bright, and I can just watch that at home.
Watch that at home.
Like, I haven't even done that yet. I've been slacking, but I've been playing a fuck ton of video games, so.
Yeah, I think it'll be like Justice League.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it's definitely up everyone's alley. And like, yeah, they didn't marvel it like a lot of people think they were gonna do.
Yeah.
Maybe some people think they did do, but I think they just had just enough humor in it.
Okay.
To not overwhelm me with it.
Right.
Like I feel Thor did.
You
Not to say Thor is horrible.
Marvel marveled up one of their own properties. But I've heard nothing but good things about Ragnarok, man.
Oh, it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. I think I already talked about it on the show. There's just some issues that I had.
Yeah, I know.
Little tiny ones, but for the most part, it was a good movie.
That's the first Marvel movie I've wanted to see since fucking Iron Man 2. And I haven't seen anything since.
Haven't seen anything since Iron Man 2?
Because Iron Man 2 was a letdown for me. The ending was so anticlimactic. No, I didn't watch 3 either.
I figured you would have watched 3 because it's Shane Black, but...
No, I didn't.
Huh.
Let me see. I watched the first Guardians. I watched it. Yeah, it was on cable. I watched it.
Oh.
It was all right. I understand why everybody was so hot for that movie when it came out because it was so different from everything Marvel was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot.
Yeah.
Second one, not so much.
Mm.
Well,
Hot takes. Yeah, we've talked about it here before.
With Ryan, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, go see it if you haven't already. I mean, I know I'm kind of late to the party on this, but
Right.
like it wasn't terrible. Like I can say it wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It was an enjoyable comic book movie.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so go see that. Another movie I watched,
Yeah.
Lady Bird.
I've been hearing good and bad things about this. I've heard it's fun and a good story, and I've also people are complaining because it's very unrelatable because it's, you know, I mean, the person who wrote it happens to be fucking white woman, so everybody's complaining about it being, oh, I'm so yeah, oh, you have so many problems as a middle class white woman. Oh God, like I was like, all right, everybody, shut up.
I won't even say she was a middle class.
No, but that's the vibe I've been seeing out there, and it's like you can't. Yeah, again, we've talked about it before. You can't diversify for diversity's sake. You let the artist tell whatever story they have to tell. You'd be way more pissed if a middle class white woman wrote a story about an ethnic character and had no knowledge whatsoever about that. So just let people tell their stories. That being said,
I guess for the most part, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's a coming of age,
right.
film, which can be, for me, coming of age movies can be either really good or really bad lately.
I love those kinds of stories.
I do love those stories too, and like we've had a few good ones. What was the one that you really liked with Haley?
Oh God, Edge of 17.
Edge of 17.
God, that was such a good movie.
Pretty good. I don't think I loved it as much as you guys did,
so good.
but I still liked it. I liked. Oh God, I just talked about it in the car. Perks of Being a Wallflower is probably like my favorite, all-time favorite.
What's that other one that everybody was all fucking hot for with what's his face? From Bleed for This.
Bleed for This.
Yeah. Fucking, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. He's like the hot. Anyway.
Miller or something?
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Whiplash. Yeah, Whiplash. That kid. What was the other one he did that was like, everybody's like, oh, it's like say anything for a new generation. What movie was that?
Spectacular.
Wow.
Spectacular Wow. That was
Shut up,
that was really good too.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, that was really good. Anyways, this was actually not bad. It was good.
Okay.
I don't think it deserved that Rotten Tomato from that asshole who just wanted to give it a Rotten Tomato because it had a 100%. Mm-hmm. Do I think it deserves a 100%? Probably not either. But
you don't have to be an asshole just to
bring the average down. Yeah. Because I don't know, what is it, like 5 tomatoes or whatever, or 10 tomatoes? I would probably give it.
I don't know. I don't know how Rotten Tomatoes works.
I don't go to
Rotten Tomatoes either.
Well, let's say it's 5 out of 5 for Rotten Tomatoes. I'll probably give it 4.
I think
because it was still good.
Rotten Tomatoes is terrible for movies, just like Metacritic is terrible for video games.
Oh, Metacritic, yeah. But for the most part, like it was an enjoyable movie. It had great scenes. It had great dialogue. It just didn't really speak to me.
Miles Teller. All right, I'm sorry. That's popped funny. In.
That's fine. But overall, like I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it was 100% either, but I don't think it was a 1% either.
Okay.
Like I said, 4 out of 5 easy, because there were some really good, solid moments in that, and like, everyone goes through that. Through that period
in some shape or form. You go through
like
it.
This person, the character is in her last year of high school. She's a senior. She's trying to figure out what's going to happen with her. What's she going to do?
Yeah.
And like her family isn't rich. Like they're poor.
Right.
They literally, as they stated in the movie, like I literally live on the wrong side of the tracks. and
Kenny style.
And it just shows it, like the way she wrote it. Like it shows like they go to the Goodwill to get their clothes. They go to like the discount stores, and like the production value of this like was done, or the design of all this, like it was done very well. And I don't know, just for me, it just didn't really speak to me.
Right.
But at the same time, like I'm not gonna just because it didn't speak to me, I'm not gonna say it's not a great movie because
Right.
it was a good movie. It had good dialogue.
I'm definitely interested to see that movie.
And I strongly recommend it, especially if you do like coming of age movies. Like,
Yeah.
this is a good one to definitely watch.
Very cool. Yeah, I want to see it, and you know me, I'm a sucker for those types of stories too.
Yeah, and I predicted how it was going to start by watching the trailer, and knew that was going to be the start of the trailer or start of the movie from the trailer. I don't know. Have you seen the trailer for it?
No, I haven't seen anything about it.
All right, then I'm not
Similarly
gonna say anything.
to like we were talking about on the way over here, The Big Sick. I don't know anything about it,
And
I need to sit down and watch it. Yeah. So I know nothing about Lady Bird other than people are complaining because.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, it was a good movie. I would definitely. Fuck it, I'll say it. I was making my top 5 list. I thought I was gonna make this, and it doesn't make my top 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it makes me sad.
Aw, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe because of the hype.
Yeah, I mean,
and
that
I
happens.
fucking hate myself for that too.
I hate when that happens to me. Like, there's something that I'm very worried about going into this week, starting tomorrow, because of the hype train behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm very worried about it. But I'm gonna try and go in, open-minded and clear-headed, and experience it the way I would experience it through my eyes, not through anybody else's. It's super hard to do though when there's so much hype about something. It's really hard. Yeah. Even if you don't realize it, subconsciously you allow that to affect you. It's super hard to not.
I think that's what happened to me too with The Last Jedi.
Oh shit! I
didn't watch a review?
No, because I haven't seen the movie yet. And I know you guys go all spoilers.
So no, we threw up a spoiler sign.
I know, but when you guys did that later in the day, and I was like, oh, they are live streaming it. I want to turn it on and see what it's like. And as soon as I turned it on, I didn't have my volume on my phone. I had the volume down.
You saw the spoiler
and I saw the spoiler thing in the background. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna watch this. I need to see the movie first.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Anyways, I still recommend to see that movie because it has some good acting.
Cool.
And I really hope Laurie Metcalf gets a nomination because she fucking deserves it. Yeah. She really fucking deserves it for this movie.
I didn't even realize she was in that.
Yeah.
I like her. She's funny as shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
she's a good actress.
And she's so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah.
I really hope she gets that nomination. Really do. It's weird that I really like the adult in this.
Yeah.
God, I'm old.
Like you were supposed to like the kid, or
wasn't that I don't like
the kid, but you're supposed
to.
That's supposed to be the story. But yeah, I've been hearing the same thing about Laurie Metcalf in that too.
She's good.
Okay.
All right, next movie I saw is Tonya.
I really want to see this movie. Again, we talked about it when we watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Like we lived through those actual events.
Yeah,
we were alive for it. We saw that unfold. The bullshit at the Olympics where she was stabbed my shoelace and she's crying and why me and blah blah blah. Like, bitch, shut up. Like that's how you felt watching it. Like I couldn't believe they were allowing her to skate that year because of what had happened. But so I'm very interested to see this movie. Because it's an interesting story, man.
It's definitely an interesting story. And it gives you, the movie starts off with, it says, like, we took all the information we know, and we're putting it out how we believe this played out. Right. So
creative license.
Yeah.
But this is what we're doing.
Yeah. And, the movie was really good. I probably enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. Because, like I said, when we watched the trailer, it kind of felt like a black comedy. Yeah. You know? Which I guess we can technically call it a black comedy. But the trailer kind of plays it out in a different way.
Right, the trailer makes it think it's going to be more yucky than it actually is from what you're saying.
Yeah, they want to bring you in with the trailer, and it obviously did with a lot of people. And then watching this movie, like, you just go through all the emotions that she goes through, and, like, they show her from a kid, growing up to that moment,
Yeah. There's been so many Olympics. Tellings of this story. Like, what's her name from Family Ties? The younger sister from Family Ties played Tonya Harding in a made-for-TV movie about this. Yeah. And, like, there's been, like, 2 or 3 different versions of this, as well as the comedy I told you about with Julie Brown, Attack of the 5'2" woman,
I don't remember.
I brought it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you did
brought
tell
it
me
up.
about it. Yeah.
Oh god, that's so fucking funny. Anyway, I'm sorry, but yeah, there's been so many tellings of this story, both as close to actual events as possible and full-on spoofs / comedies. And now here's another one, kind of going back to the other side, going, here's what we believe happened, how it happened,
Right.
based on the information we have.
And yeah, it goes through all those steps,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get to the part where we're finally at it. We're at the incident, what you came for.
Yeah.
And the whole movie is basically an interview through flashbacks and through storytelling. It's between Tonya, her mom,
Like an Unsolved Mysteries kind of thing.
kind of actually a little bit, yeah.
That's great. Oh man, I need to see this movie.
Actually, yeah, I would say that because they're
Reenactment of actual events.
they're explaining everything, and then you see it transcribed.
Yeah.
And there's that moment just like in the trailer where they're acting it out, and then they turn and talking to the camera, break the fourth wall.
Yeah, that's
And it's one of those movies where it's a lot of fun, but there's some points in this movie where you're like, fuck,
Yeah.
like fucking drama, I don't want to give it away, but I mean, I guess this is a type of biography, so you can't already know what's going on. Right. But like, I personally didn't know this, but apparently she just had a really hard life growing up.
Yeah.
I'd say I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And watching this was all new to me, and kind of like what, and I'm with the Disaster Artist, the book, not the movie.
Right.
This movie makes you, just like the Disaster Artist, makes you feel bad for this person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, was she really behind this or not? Was she part of it or was she not a part of it?
Right.
So it's kind of hard to throw sympathy to someone who you see grow up and be, abused
Basically,
physically
yeah.
and mentally.
Mm-hmm.
But then this happens and you don't know if she was a part of it or not. So
Right.
it's like kind of like, yeah, it's
It's a super intriguing story, man.
Yeah, it lingers on when you leave the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think. So yeah, I really enjoyed the movie a lot, and I think you would.
Yeah.
I would definitely think you would like
Yeah,
that too.
I'm super interested to watch it. Again, I don't get out to the theater.
I'm sure it'll come out on Vudu or
Maybe like in February or March, I'll finally have my top 5 movies of 2017 list.
I'm like, so guys, I have my list.
Now that I've seen some movies.
It's July.
Yeah.
It's summer.
Yeah. That's funny.
So yeah, I definitely throw the go see it in there
Awesome.
because the acting is fucking amazing. She does a very good job.
Yeah,
Margot Robbie does a
like
very,
Margot
very
Robbie.
good job.
It cracks me up because like she's an extremely pretty
beautiful woman.
And then they make her look like
And they
Tonya
use-
Harding, and
With
like
makeup very well.
and this is gonna sound very judgmental from a dude who's not very good looking, but Tonya Harding is not good looking to me at all. And like they take Margot Robbie and make her look like Tonya Harding, and I was like, wow.
And look what they did with Charlize Theron and
Yeah,
Monster.
yeah. Who I've come around on recently.
Who you have come around on recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's getting nominated easily.
You think so?
If either her or Allison Jennings, is that how you say her name?
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Either both of them or somebody's getting nominated.
Okay. That's cool, man. I need to see that. There's again, I say that every week. I need to see that movie. Oh, I need to see that movie.
Yeah.
There's too many movies. I spend too much time playing video games.
Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. That's pretty much all the movies they saw. I don't think you guys saw anything else.
Okay.
Still watch TV wise. I'm still watching Runaways. Still right now the best fucking show on not on television.
Yeah, not on TV.
But yeah, and we still gotta watch The Gifted.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that yet
Because I
either.
really want to watch that. It's on my list, but I just haven't got around to it.
Right. I also have reviews of things.
That's right, you do.
I played through the single player campaign for Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
You didn't buy it.
No, I got
right?
it through GameFly.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
I gotta say that game is getting a lot of hate for its business practices, and there's also a lot of people that are allowing that to affect their opinion of the game
Actual
itself.
game itself?
Right.
Okay.
The game is really good. It feels really good. It's DICE. They make great shooters. It's a great shooter. The story is super intriguing. It's got, it's a new character.
I honestly didn't know there was an actual story.
Yeah,
I thought it was just Battlefront.
Right.
Shooter.
That's there, but there's also a single player
That's
campaign. The single player campaign is so fucking disjointed, man. Like, when you're playing as the new character that they've created for this game, who's a stormtrooper that ends up switching sides because of guess it's Star Wars. Guess what? Daddy issues. So, but it's
George Lucas.
It's a strong female lead character, which I think is awesome. Who's portrayed as badass, and also you get some sympathy for because of what's happening. I don't know if I should get. I mean, the game's been out for a month or two. I don't know if I should talk about spoilers to the story or whatever, but
Little ones, I guess, would be fine.
So when I heard people talk about this story, it was.
You want to throw spoilers up or?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump.
Okay.
Spoilers in. So when this gets turned off, you will not be talking about spoilers anymore.
Right. Okay. So I heard people talk about this story, and there was two ways. It was never. Oh, it was all right. Like, it was either I really enjoyed the story, or the story fucking sucks. It's too predictable. It's too this. It's too that. It's too Star Wars. I'm like,
Two Star Wars.
okay, so check it out. You are a commander. You are a commander. You're a commander in for a stormtrooper army. Your dad is the head guy.
Okay.
Okay. So you are what the story that this tells, similar to like Uncharted Lost Legacy almost, where the whole point, the bad guy in that game was trying to bring the country together through tragedy.
Got it. Okay.
And similar to that, in this game, in Star Wars Battlefront 2, the story is we need to bring the Empire back together because this takes place after Episode 6, before The Force Awakens.
Oh, The Force Awakens. Okay.
So before Force Awakens, but after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So it's the Empire's in fucking shambles. They're trying to bring the Empire back together, but the way they're doing it is they're going to blow up planets within the Empire, like Empire sympathizers. And one of the planets that they're going to blow up is your home planet. And she's like, "We can't do this. That's our home." And the dad's like, "No, it's the only way to bring the Empire back together is through this." And so she says, "Fuck that," and switches sides and goes and tells the rebels, "Hey, they're gonna fucking do this. We need to stop the Empire." So she switches sides. And when I heard people talking about it, they're like, "She just switches sides for no reason," and blah blah blah. There's no storytelling
like
mechanism.
a pretty damn good reason.
And it's like, yes, it's very Star Wars. 1, daddy issues. 2, her home planet is destroyed. 3, she switches, like, yes.
Did she lose a limb?
No, actually, no. But there's also a really awesome B story between her and her, like, direct underling in the army. He switches with her. He leaves with her. And over the course of this story, they don't beat you over the head with the love story stuff, but through the course of the story, they get closer and closer together. You can see it. But they don't beat you over the head with it. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, oh no, this sounds like it's going to be terrible. Everybody says there's no reason for the switching sides and they just do it to do it. And then I'm playing the game and I'm like, these people obviously weren't paying attention to the story when they played through the game because it's all there. The only reason I say that it's so disjointed is because you play about 3 missions and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you get to play as Luke Skywalker. And it's a first-person shooter, but when you're Luke, you have a lightsaber, so that doesn't work in first person. So they pull out the third person, and they force a third-person perspective when you are the heroes because they paid for the likenesses. So they force you to play, but then you don't even see their face. You see them from behind the whole time. It completely, we talked about this on the way over here, it completely pulled me out of the story. A story I was really enjoying. It's like, hey, you get to play as Luke. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. And then you get back and you're playing as Iden and it's really, really cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're Han Solo. And then it's like, oh, then you're back to her. And then, hey, you get to walk around as Lando. It's pretty fun. Like, there's a really awesome story here that's completely blown apart by these out of place sections where they want to use these likenesses. And the voice actors they got to play Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia, and Lando, the voice actors are fucking terrible because it's not the actual people. There's spoilers, obviously the tag is still up. At the end, Kylo Ren comes in because the end of the story
that makes sense,
takes place decades later. So then Kylo Ren comes in, and the voice actor that they got to try and be Adam Driver is fucking terrible, man. It's really, really bad. So anytime you see the characters you know from Star Wars, it's really bad. But when they're focused on telling this story, it's really good. At first, there was a lot of in-space battles where you're using a fucking TIE fighter or an X-Wing, and you're flying around and blasting shit. And I didn't like it at first because it felt so weird because the flying controls are completely fucked. When you pull down, you should go up in an airplane, and when you push up, you should go down. They don't change that. They keep it when you pull down, you go down. When you push up, you go up, which is completely wrong. And I searched, unless I just missed it because I'm an idiot, I searched the control options for like 20 minutes trying to find, I need to invert my flight controls because that's the right way to do it.
Right.
But it felt bad until I realized, oh, I have to push down to go down and up to go up and not the way it's supposed to be. So I eventually came around on that and really enjoyed the in-air space fight sequences because there's some really awesome dogfights and big space battles that go on in this game. I would suggest that people rent it, but the story is really cool. I really enjoyed the new character, and I like Janina Gavankar a lot to begin with, and she is awesome as this character. And I really, really like the story. If it wasn't completely destroyed by breaking it up so you can play as the people you know from the movies, it would be so much better. If they would just take those out, because they really have no bearing. The one as Luke is the only one that has any bearing on the story whatsoever. And that one feels the worst. Because at least when you're the other characters, you're shooting blasters, just third person. But when you're Luke, you're walking around using your shooting controls to swing a lightsaber, and it feels like garbage. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed the story. If you can pick it up for like $20 or super cheap, I would say pick it up. Just for the single player alone. They added a second...
Sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, they added a second single player campaign piece. I don't know how long that is. But I didn't play that because I wanted to play what the game shipped with. So I did that. And I didn't play any of the online because I wasn't coming to it for online or anything like that. All I did was play the single player story. And I really enjoyed the story they were trying to tell me. I just wish they wouldn't have fucked it up by forcing me to play as Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Lando Calrissian.
No more spoilers?
No more spoilers.
Okay.
But I would recommend it, man. If you like Star Wars and you want to see a different... It's so funny that when Disney bought the IP, when they bought Lucas and they bought all that shit, They were like, none of that fan fiction shit is part of the canon anymore. And everybody's like, how can you do that? People love these books. People love these stories. And they did it so they could create their own side story fiction with new characters. And so far, I think they've done a good job. I know Battlefront 2 is getting a lot of hate. And I understand why people don't like the business practices behind that game. But you can't say the game is not good. Because the game is very good with the exception of the lightsaber combat that is a very small part of that game, but it's a very good story, and it's a dice first person shooter. It handles so good, it feels so good. To me, dice is second only to Bungie when it comes to shooting and mechanics and how it feels. If Bungie wasn't a thing, if Halo was never a thing and Destiny wasn't a thing, dice would be king shit when it comes to first-person shooters. I know a lot of people think it's Infinity Ward, old Infinity Ward and the Call of Duty stuff, but no, it's DICE, and it's their Battlefield 1 and 2 and 3, and now the Star Wars Battlefront games. Like, they do shooting better than almost anybody in the space, with the exception of Bungie.
Well, did DICE used to be Infinity Ward, or
no? They
just
no.
people that used to work there?
Yeah, they were offshoots at one point because they used. It's funny, like Infinity Ward, which is now the guys from Infinity Ward now are part of Respawn. They started Respawn, which do the Titanfall games, and they're also doing a Star Wars game now, which they announced earlier this year that they're working on a game in the Star Wars world, which I think is cool. It's going to be awesome. It's going to feel great. But yeah, I think that DICE really knows how to do first-person shooters, and especially large-scale firefight style games, which are super fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed my time with it, to the point where I would play this game online. I would go back and play online with this game, because the pew pews sound like the pew pews from the Star Wars I like. You know what I mean? Like it hits a very weird nostalgic side of me that, again, I've always said, like, I don't hate Star Wars. I'm just not as big of a fan as a lot of people I know. But it hits a nerve center in the back of my brain when I hear the blasters go off, and it's like, oh yeah, that feels good to hear that noise.
That's pretty cool.
So I would recommend you going to Redbox and picking it up and playing through the single player, because I think you would really like that story, that the campaign and the story.
And the story sounds really good.
Yeah, surprise daddy issues. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time with that game, and would consider renting it or picking it up on the cheap to play online, and maybe go through that story again and play the extra deal.
How long was the story? Average?
Everybody was complaining about it, saying like, "Oh, you can beat it in 2 hours," and I was like, "No, it's like a good 6 to 8 hours story, just like any first-person shooter campaign." And it's so funny because everybody knocked that game for it's too short. It feels so tacked on. It's too short. And I was like, oh man. And then I played it. I was like, oh, I'll probably beat this in one sitting. But then I had to stop and come back the next day and play it and finish it. So I wasn't able to sit down and do it in one sitting. You know what I did basically in one sitting? Uncharted Lost Legacy, which is not a knock on the game, and not a knock at all. But everybody was like, yeah, it's like 8 to 10 hours, maybe 12-hour game, just like the first Uncharted. It's like the perfect length. And I was like, cool, it's going to be sink my teeth into this. I basically finished 80% of the game the first time I sat down and played it, because I didn't realize how far I'd gone. I beat that game in under 5 hours, like, or 5.5 hours or something like that. Uncharted, everybody overestimated the length of Lost Legacy and is underestimating the length of Battlefront. That's because funny. They want to add on to the things to not like about Battlefront. But for me, I've gotten past the point of hour count in video game. I don't like that all of a sudden everybody's like, I need something I can consume now. I don't like that, because I like when games tell me a long story that's a good long story. Not an artificially padded out story. Like a long story that's very good and well told. I dig that stuff. I don't like when a game is too short for the sake of being, well, we just wanted to give a short single player campaign because everybody says they want a single player. I like it if it's short and quote like movie length, movie style, that's fine. But it's got to have some meat to it. So I've gotten past the point of complaining about hour counts in video games, and I think that flipped for me about 3 or 4 years ago, because for the longest time I would sit here and talk shit about Battlefront, Battlefield, the military shooter, right, and Call of Duty, because their single player campaigns were so short.
Those are short.
But honestly, they're all well told and well done and have awesome set pieces. And when I go back and play those games or play the newer games in those franchises, I realize I was kind of an asshole for complaining about the hour count of this single player story. If I would have just shut up and let myself enjoy it, I probably would have liked it a lot more. I'm not saying that you should go out and spend $60 for a game you can beat in 90 minutes. That's bullshit. Do what I do and rent them. But I'm way past the point of complaining about hour counts in video games. Just because a game is 100 hours long doesn't make it better than a game that's 6 hours long. In my mind anymore. Yeah. I used to be that way. When I had a lot of spare time, I used to be that way. But I'm not. I've completely flipped on that to where now I'm not saying that I want shorter games, because I don't. I just want stories to be told well, whether the game is long or short.
That's how I always felt. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care how long it is, as long as you tell me a good story.
Yeah.
And
I think
otherwise I enjoyed it. Yeah, because for the most part, like, I've never was like a stickler on, like, oh, this was too short, or, you know, this was too long.
yeah.
You know, I just want a good story told to me.
Yeah. I think I
And you
flipped
should
on
get
that
it.
around when Journey came out and when Flower came out. Because those games are super short, but they're worth every fucking penny, you know?
God, Flower was fun to play.
So I think that's where my mindset started to change. Then there's games like Gone Home that I beat in like 90 minutes, but it is a fucking fantastic
I
video
was
game.
just talking about Gone Home with my brother-in-law, and I convinced him to get it.
Yeah.
Because it was also on sale for Steam for like $2.99.
Yeah.
I told him, like, you have to get it because he likes those type of games like
Yeah.
Myst and whatever, where you kind of explore the area.
Yeah.
So I told him about that. So hopefully he got it.
Cool.
Next time I see him, I'll ask him what he thought.
So on the flip side of Star Wars Battlefront, I know I've talked about this game a little bit, but this is a game that I've spent 40 hours in and finally completely finished. I'm pretty close to getting the platinum, and I'm going to go back and do it. But Need for Speed Payback has gotten a complete bum rap. Completely bum rap. Yes, it is like a B-movie story plot. I explained the story to you guys when I was
talked
on.
about it, yeah.
But I finished the story, and I finished all the single-player stuff except like all the missions. But there's like, I keep going back to it, even when I'm playing a really amazing fucking game, like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. When I'm playing that, and I love that game. That game is. We're gonna talk about that game in a minute. I love that game. But the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I still have jumps to do and drift zones to do. I want a platinum Need for Speed. I want a platinum Need for Speed. So it's always in the back of my head that I want to get back to Need for Speed Payback, which to me is the best thing you can say about a driving game. I've said it about Burnout Paradise. I've said it about Need for Speed Most Wanted, the one that Criterion did.
Right.
Like things that keep you coming back. And there was the one thing that really bummed me out about the Need for Speed game that came out in 2015. Once you were done with the story, there was nothing else to do. And it bummed me out because I really liked being in that world. I really liked driving those cars in that fake city they built. And I actually enjoyed the characters, as B-movie as they were. I enjoyed the characters in Need for Speed from 2015. But there was just nothing else to do. And I kept the game because they're like, hey, we're gonna take a year off and we're gonna make the next game. So I was like, oh man, maybe that means they're gonna come out with DLC for Need for Speed. But they never did. And it bummed me out because I had a game sitting there for almost 2 years just wanting to put it back in my console, but no reason to do it. Need for Speed Payback is... They took the groundwork from the last game they built, which I thought was a fun driving game. The cars handled really well. They added new things to it. It's different driving disciplines. There's street racing, there's off-road racing, there's drifting, there's awesome rallycross events they're calling speed cross. So it's dirt track, tarmac, but cool jumps, and it's basically what rallycross in the X Games is now, where it's like half of the track is on streets and half of the track is in dirt. And there's cool ass jumps and fucking fireworks going off, and it's really fun. And that was an add-on that they came out with that I bought because I wanted a reason to go back into the world. But aside from those missions and races, they have events all around, activities all around the map you can do. There's speed trap cameras, so you have to go a certain speed through the camera, and you get 1 to 3 stars. There's drift zones where you have to get 40,000 drift points on this windy road. There's awesome things called speed runs, where it's a section of the road that you have to keep a high enough average speed. So like you have to have an average speed of 140 miles an hour through these 10 gates that stretch like a quarter of the map. And there's a lot of those things. There's 140 speed trap cameras. There's like 140 jumps. There's 140 drift zones. Like there's a lot of shit to do. And I have to do all of those to platinum it. I don't have to get 3 stars, but I have to do every activity. And I sit there and I go, I really should be playing Hellblade right now. And I really should be playing Evil Within 2 right now. I should really be playing this right now. But you know what? I want to go hit some jumps. I want to go drive these. I want to go drift around this corner. Like everybody who's trash talking Need for Speed Payback, I think, is completely misguided as to what they want out of a modern driving game. Driving games are starting to become they are getting phased out, similarly to the way kart racers got phased out. Games like Jet Moto.
Yeah.
Like where if I see a game like Jet Moto now, with the exception of Mario Kart, because it's a completely different beast, there's no way I'm paying full price for a fucking kart racer anymore, unless it's Mario Kart, because it's a different beast all on its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like this awesome game that was came out on PS3, and I can't remember what it was called, but your airplanes, and it's essentially a race. It's a racing game, whether it's point to point or lap races, but you're in airplanes and flying around these cool little maps, and they're short races. But they tried to sell that game for like $30. I'm like, no fucking way. I'm not paying $30 for a game that I wouldn't have paid full price for on an N64, because that's what it felt like. It felt like an N64 era game, and I think driving games are starting to fall into that category where people don't want to just play a driving game anymore unless it's a Forza game or a Gran Turismo or, you know, a big driving game. A game, and it sucks because they're always talking about, we need something to sink our teeth into with driving games. We need stories. We need this. We need that. But every time anybody tries to put a story mode into a driving game, it gets shit on. I'm sorry, you're not going to tell some fucking earth-shattering awesome story in a driving game because the mechanics boil down to you getting in a car and winning a race. So it's going to end up being a Fast and Furious knockoff style story, which I have no problem with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Need for Speed Payback is a lot better than anybody's giving it credit for. It's like $30 right now. It's literally half price everywhere right now, whether it's digital or physical. And if you like arcade racers and you like fucking schlocky B-movie stories like Fast and Furious, and I'm not even talking about the modern ones. I'm talking about like Fast and Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious and Tokyo Drift, which are movies that I genuinely, unironically love. I don't think they're great pieces of cinema, but I love those movies. If you like things like that, Need for Speed Payback is totally for you, because the cars handle great. I got to a point where I know everybody was complaining about the grinding aspect, like, oh, fucking loot boxes, EA, fuck off. Like, I got to one point where I felt like I needed to go back and redo races to build up my car once. I never felt the need to purchase loot boxes to get speed cards. I never felt the need to go to the in-game speed shops and buy speed cards with the in-game currency. I only felt that once. And then the only reason I ended up doing it was to get a trophy. So you don't have to engage with that. If you don't want to grind, you can use your in-game currency to go to auto shops and buy parts to put on your car. If you don't want to do that, you can grind races that are really fun to do over and over again. And if you don't want to do that, yes, you can buy them with real money. But I never felt the need to do any of that shit, like with the exception of once, because I think the drag racing aspect of the game was an afterthought, because there wasn't a lot of races, and you have to do drag events twice. So the first time it's like, okay, you level up your car and you get it to like, so there's a scale of all the way up to 399 performance points. And when you level up the car at the end of the first series of drag races, you get to about 180, which is not super high, but you get through and you win without a problem. You don't have to grind or anything. But then when the drag races come back around, you need a car that's in the 300s. And that was and I really feel like the drag racing stuff was an afterthought, because that was the only time I ever felt like I had to go back and grind to build up the car so I could do these events. And again, it didn't bother me because the game is actually fun. The driving is actually fun. So I think it's getting a bum rap, and I think that if you like arcade racers and you miss something like Burnout, Bryce, if you miss Burnout like I do, you should get Need for Speed Payback.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because there's just all these cool-ass events. There's jumps. Like, you can't do barrel rolls or flat spins. I know, that's a bummer. But you can jump for 300 yards off of this big-ass jump into a fucking rock pit. Like, it's amazing. It's fun. It's definitely a game that's a lot higher on my list than I thought it was going to be.
That's funny.
And I'm glad I ended up buying it instead of just renting it, because I was just going to rent it and play it and send it back. But I ended up buying it because it was on sale over like Cyber Monday or Black Friday weekend. It was on sale digitally for like $32. And I was like, there's no way I can pass this up. The game's only been out a week and it's basically half price. But yeah, Need for Speed Payback is completely worth the money. Whatever price you get it at. And it's super cheap right now. So On to Hellblade, Senua
Hellblade,
Sacrifice. This is a game I'm not going to talk about any story aspects of it because I think people need to experience this. I don't even want to throw spoilers up there. I want people to experience this game the same way I did.
I don't even know what it's about.
It is a fucking amazingly well done story. It is the perfect hybrid between a game like Gone Home, like a walking simulator like Gone Home, walking simulator.
Really?
It's the perfect balance of that and like a quote unquote actual video game because there's combat sequences in it. There's a lot of exploration and finding stuff. Bryce, this game's right up your alley. It's all exploring. The puzzles aren't hard, but it's got cool puzzles and it's all exploration. And then there's a combat element also that is fun to do because Ninja Theory makes great combat. And for anybody
What kind
who
of
doesn't
combat
know,
is it, like turn-based or?
it's real time.
Or real-time?
Real-time
okay.
action combat. And for people who don't know, Ninja Theory made Hellblade: Senua Sacrifice. They are also the same company that made Heavenly Sword, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West,
okay.
the last Devil May Cry game, DMC. They make awesome combat. And so it was really... And they tell awesome movie-style stories in their video games. So for me, this was like the perfect marriage of the two styles of game they make. There's an amazingly well-acted, well-told story. It's fucking fantastic. And it's got combat in it. But it's not too much combat. It's just enough. But yeah, I don't want to say much more other than...
Interesting.
It is when you play the game, put headphones on. It is a game that is infinitely better with a surround sound setup or headphones. This, like I said, I don't want to get into the story, but the story is fucking fantastic. And
It's like one of those things where just go play it.
yeah, just go play it.
It's like just go watch The Big Sick.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it, man. Because Hellblade is one of the best video game experiences I've ever had. Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not one for the quote walking simulator style of games. Like I really enjoyed Gone Home, but any other game that like that I've tried, like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and like all these other games that are like that, I bounce off because I don't like not interacting with things. But this game is fucking fantastic. It's such a great story. I think it's not getting enough love from other places when it comes to like Game of the Year or anything like that. But it has the best sound design of any video game ever made. It's got the best motion capture and facial capture tech because it's something that Ninja Theory is known for. It's their motion capture stuff and their stuff like that. Their performance capture is second to none. It's better than what Naughty Dog does. It's better than what they do at Quantic Dream. It is fucking top notch.
Really?
Yep.
That's some big titles that dropped there.
You should play this game. This game is right up your fucking alley, man.
It's on everything?
No, PlayStation only.
PlayStation 4. PlayStation only.
Yep.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's only digital. There's no physical copy or anything.
Maybe I'll check it out.
And it's, I think, 30...
I don't think I'll play it in time for...
Oh, no. Probably no. Probably not. But it'd be nice to come back to it later after you've played it. And yeah, I think it is a masterpiece in gaming. And that's not hyperbole. That's how I feel.
We'll see.
I started playing The Evil Within Part 2. And holy shit. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year, hey, Mike, there's going to be 2 survival horror games you play this year that you're going to absolutely love, I would have said no because there's no Silent Hill game coming out. Get out of my face. But Resident Evil 7 is fucking fantastic.
I gotta play that.
Yeah, you do. And The Evil Within Part 2 is like the perfect mixture of everything I love about Silent Hill and anything I ever liked about Resident Evil games. It's like the perfect marriage of those two styles of survival horror. It's so good, man. I'm about 6 hours in, so I think I'm about halfway through it. But it is fucking amazing. I love the story so far. I love the mechanics. The combat plays like a Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 5, so it's very good combat. But I like a Silent Hill game, I feel like I should probably just run away more than I should go in combat. And then I remember, oh wait, this combat's actually good. I should probably shoot these fuckers. But yeah, Evil Within 2 is fucking great. This is not a review because I haven't finished the game yet. This is merely a check-in.
First impressions.
First impressions. It fucking floored me, man.
I've watched streamers play the first one, a streamer play the first game, and it intrigued me a lot.
Yeah.
The story intrigued me a lot, actually. I actually had no idea what I was getting into when she started playing. And then watching it, I was like, holy fuck, this is fucking scary as shit, but interesting as hell.
It's Silent Hill and Resident Evil meets The Matrix.
Yeah.
That's what this game is.
Shit, man.
It's really good. It's really good. So I didn't play the first game, so I had no idea what the story conceit was as to how you get into that world with all the shit. They're not zombies, but, you know, for lack of a better word, the undead, the zombies. So I didn't know what the story conceit was. And then when you play through the first little piece of the game, and then you encounter somebody that takes you in to get you into that world, to jack you into the Matrix essentially, and it's called Mobius. Like, the company is called Mobius, which is hilarious. The girl that shows up to take you to do this has two, like, security flanking her, and I was like, who are these fucking Agent Smith looking motherfuckers? Because that's what they look like. And then they literally put you in a machine that fucking jacks you into a virtual world, and I'm like, oh shit, this is awesome. This is literally the Matrix. This is fucking rad. I like it a lot. Yeah, and the world's all fucked up and upside down and breaking apart, and like, it's an amazing game so far. And yeah, I didn't think that I was gonna love this or Resident Evil 7 as much as I do. And yeah, it's been a great fucking year for video games, man. A great year for video games. And it's gonna get greater before the year is up for me, so hopefully the hype doesn't kill me. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. Yeah, that's the deal with those games. And I think and it's 4 completely different types of games, man. Like, Hellblade is a quote like walking simulator basically, with a little bit of combat. I've played a 45-hour long racing game. I've played so far a little bit of The Evil Within, which is a survival horror game, and Star Wars Battlefront is a first-person shooter. That's 4 completely different styles of game, and they all hold their own in their respective genres, and in some cases completely blow other games in their genres out of the fucking water. And it's been an amazing year for video games, and I'm glad it's been so good, because the knock on this generation of consoles was there's no good games coming out. It's all just rehashes and ports and this and that and blah, 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 but this year was a ridiculously epic year for video games, and I to the point where this year I've already told you and Bryce, I was like, hey guys, I've played too many games and there's no way I can narrow it down to 5. I'm doing a top 10 list this year, which is something I don't like to do, because I always tell you guys my favorite part about making these lists is having the fights and conversations with myself to whittle it down to 5. But there's just, and I don't want to sit here and be like, here's 27 honorable mentions from this year.
Right.
So I'm forcing myself to narrow it down to 10. I might maybe force myself to bring it down to 7 or 8, just so it doesn't seem like there's so many games on my list. But realistically,
I think 7's better.
I think it would be completely unfair to not put games on my list, like, and say, hey, here's some honorable mentions, because like everything is just like, it's one of those years where like my list, I've always not easily, but I've always been very good at going, this was my favorite fucking game this year. This is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4, this is number 5.
Yeah.
This year, I feel like I want to put a 1 next to every game on my list. That's how good games have been this year. Everything is a fucking number 1 for me that I've played. Not everything I've played, but everything that is going to be on the list could be number 1.
Shit.
In any other year, my top 5 games would be number 1 on a list somewhere.
You still got more games to play.
Yeah, I do. And I have to finish Evil Within, because the more I play of that game, the more it starts going up the list. I'm like, oh god, I don't want to bump this game, but this is so much not, and it's a different types of games on my list. Like, there's first-person shooters, there's a fucking turn-based RPG, there is a walking simulator, quote unquote, there's a 40-hour-long driving game that people seem to not like, but I think it's great. There's a game that I spent 45 hours in, an open world adventure that is fucking fantastic, that is completely getting overlooked this year. And the knocks on it are, well, it's good at everything it does, so it can't be the game of the year. That doesn't make any sense to me. In a year where I thought I was totally done with Uncharted, they managed to put out a game that made me feel something for characters I despised.
Yeah.
There is so many good games out this year that if you are even remotely into and you have the current generation of consoles, whether it's an Xbox One or a PS4 or a PC or a Switch, or hell, even 3DS had some good games this year. From, I guess, the new Metroid game that came out is fucking fantastic. Like, I haven't played that, so I don't know. I haven't played any of the Switch games, so I don't know. And it bums me out that I haven't played any of those games, but I just haven't. I don't have a Switch, so I can't play those games. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Switch goes, like, I can talk about the Switch games.
Yeah.
I still haven't beat the games yet, but
yeah.
with Zelda and Odyssey, like, I got further in Odyssey, and I'm actually stuck right now at a point because I've already gone back to it 3 times, and I can't fucking pass it.
You still need to get Never Stop Sneaking, which is that top-down Metal Gear-like game that you can literally play with one button. Like, you don't have it's a one-button game that just evokes the Metal Gear style, which I think is fucking awesome.
When we're finished, I'll bring my Switch over. It's in the living room right now, but
you haven't played Golf Story yet.
I haven't played that one.
You haven't.
Either.
Like, there's so many Switch games that you haven't played that I haven't played that probably should be on a top 10 list somewhere because they're fucking amazing. And I'm not just talking about the Odyssey and the Zeldas and the Mario Karts and the Splatoons. I'm talking about the small games, the indie games. Like,
it's just so much right now.
It's been a fucking year, man, for video games.
Yeah, like I just want to pass the games that I have now before I move on to anything. I don't want to start something and then I'll just be like I am with television shows with video games, and I don't want to do that.
That's what
I'd rather just concentrate on one game and pass it.
I never have an issue where, like, I don't finish games, but this year specifically, I was like, I need to finish these games. I need to play these games, and I need to finish these games. You know, and what's fucked up is, like, I didn't even play Gravity Rush 2, which came out in January, and I never played that game. But I loved the first one on the Vita. And by all rights, Gravity Rush 2 is fucking awesome. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to play that game. I didn't get a chance to play Persona 5. I didn't get a chance to play Yakuza 0. I didn't get a chance to play a whole bunch of shit that I wanted to play that realistically would probably make my top 10 list even harder to make. Because I know I would enjoy Gravity Rush. I know I would enjoy Yakuza 0. And I know I would like Persona 5. And I just didn't get a chance to play those games this year.
Yeah. I mean, I still made my list for video games.
Yeah.
Granted, I didn't, pass any of them yet.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not making a rough estimate.
Yeah. Yeah. And with a lot of stuff, like with Evil Within, as long as they stick the landing, as long as they don't completely fuck the end of that game, I know it's going to end up really high on my list. And it's just funny. It's at a point now with most video games where it's like, God, this is so fucking good. Like, as long as they stick the landing, because the ending of something can really destroy it for me if it doesn't end well. It doesn't even have to be the best ending ever. It just has to end well. And yeah, as long as these games that you're playing, I'm sure, as long as Mario sticks the landing, which from by all rights, it's fucking fantastic from what I've heard.
I'm playing I'm loving it.
As long as Zelda sticks the landing, which from by all rights I heard that it's amazing, I think that game will be hard to beat.
Yeah, those are both good games right now.
Hell, man, they even made a fucking Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Rush, which is basically just a real-time strategy game that people absolutely love because it's funny.
I'm not into those games.
I'm not either. But I played a game like that already this year, South Park. I played South Park, which is a turn-based, grid-based, and that game is fucking amazing. Like, I just can't talk about games right now because everything's
amazing.
It sounds like I'm just spitting hyperbole. It just sounds like I sound like Dan Herman. Everything sounds like the greatest thing ever.
Could have just got Dan Herman on the show.
This year, there's 15 games I've played so far. And I still got about a week left, or a couple days left. There's 15 games I've played to completion so far this year that are fucking fantastic. And yeah, and I think there's going to be more before we do our end of the year list. So I'm excited. I hope 2018 is half as good for video games as it was in 2017. Because even if it's half as good, it's going to be fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these
Yeah,
games next year.
Yep. Detroit's coming out.
In Detroit, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the number one game I'm looking forward to.
God, there's a lot of games coming out. All right, we should probably wrap.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Yep.
There's the show for this week. Next week we'll have our full
3-man booth.
Yeah, with our end of the year list of movies.
So get
and
cracking,
video
Bryce.
games.
I'm like I told you guys, and I'll say it here. I'm completely abstaining from the movie list portion because I've only seen 2 movies, and if I see the movies that I want to see before we do this, it'll be 5 movies total, and it would be just irresponsible and unfair for me to make a top 5 list when I've only seen 5 movies, or even a top 3 list when I've only seen 5 movies, because
or even 1.
two, yeah, it'd be unfair though because I saw 1 movie and guess what? It's the best movie I saw this year. Like it's 2 of the movies I saw this year, even though one of them I actually genuinely loved, would not make my top 5 list if I had seen more movies this year. So it would be unfair to put Underworld on a top 5 list when I haven't seen anything else this year because, yeah, and it wouldn't even make my top 5. And those are the only 2 movies I've seen this year.
Really? All right, then.
It wouldn't even make a top 10, and I've only seen 2 movies this year. I
Whoa.
did not like it at all.
I thought you came on and said
It was fine.
You just said it was fine.
It
That's
was
right.
fine. But yeah,
Okay.
let's wrap up.
All right. So there you have it for this week. Come join us next week. We are at someshitwelike.com with all our information, or just come here on YouTube or Twitch. We're on Twitch right now.
Yeah.
Unless you're watching this on YouTube, then we're on YouTube. So subscribe.
Podcast
Or watch us live.
around the globe.
Or watch us live every Saturday, sometimes Sunday, around noonish on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/SSWL Network. So until next time.
That was some shit we like.